guys. I have the honor and the privilege of having one of my friends and one of our family friends through Ian, through my husband, and now also one of the India and Stuff listeners.
I am.
With us today. This is Sue Penicka.
Yep.
Sue
Hi.
is amazing.
Thank you.
And there's many reasons why I wanted to have you on the show, but one is that you like tell me all the time, you're like, oh, I listened to your episode.
I do. I when I'm cooking, if I'm in the kitchen, I put it on and I just feel like India is sitting at the kitchen table talking to me. And
it's so cute.
It's awesome. So yeah, I do listen all the time.
I feel very, very honored by that. But yeah, we're at your house right now because we have some time off and we're like, hey, why don't we go hang up in upstate New York?
It's wonderful.
So you guys have moved a little bit. This is kind of a newer place.
Right.
Yeah. And it's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's so fun. You're such a good host too.
Thank you.
Also, I will have to share your recipe. Last night, Sue made us. Oh my gosh, Sue made us what is like French onion soup roast.
Yeah, it's like a French onion pot roast. So it's basically onion soup with shredded beef in it, and then you put the bread and the cheese on top and put it under the broiler. So
I'm gonna put your link, your little recipe.
But I can't take credit. I work with a wonderful woman, Karen, at the food pantry, and she made it and came in and said, "You have to try this."
It's amazing.
So Karen gets the credit. Shout out
Thanks,
to Karen. Yeah,
I'll put that recipe there. But yeah, you work at a food pantry, which is really cool.
I do.
Yeah, and what else do you do with your time right now?
Well, right now, like India said, this house is new to us. We moved in September. It was built in the late 90s, kind of had a late 90s feeling to it. And we both enjoy home improvement projects.
Yeah.
We're both engineers. We like digging into stuff and working on things. So we've been slowly working our way around the house and just making it ours. It's been fun.
All the little DIY projects. And I can tell it's looking really good and homey. And
thank you.
All the little, she was showing me, they like redid their kitchen. Then they have these cool kind of copper little fixtures on everything. Yeah, you have a good eye for
It's been fun.
Yeah.
It has. We still have a lot to do, but it's been fun so far.
It's beautiful. And you have a dog.
We have our dog, and we take care of our daughter's dog.
Yes.
When she's a PA in the NICU, and when she's working, we take care of him.
We love Christine.
So
yeah, the context here, just to fill in, my faithful listeners, Sue and Bob are Ian, my husband's godparents.
Correct.
And so you guys knew his parents before he was even born, like back in college.
Ian's dad is our closest, mutual friend? Is that what you call that?
Yeah.
Where I had moved to Circleville, Ohio, where Bob and Lon were both living. And I met Bob, and then he introduced me to Lon, and the three of us have been friends ever since.
Yeah.
I mean, I married Bob, but I'm friends with Lon, and then Paula, his mom.
Yeah.
Our dearest, oldest friends.
So you guys were in your early 20s at that point?
I met Lon when I was 23.
That's just wild because I'm thinking through like my friends when I was in college and after college, like 23, 24, the people I'm meeting now, it's like, is this going to be me in 40 years?
Right.
Like those people could be your lifelong friends.
I'll be 63 in June, so it'll be 40 years that we've been friends with Lon.
That's amazing.
He's just been a part of our life, and Ian, and and now we get to know you. I mean,
Yay.
it's just the circle gets bigger, but you keep that center core, and it's awesome.
And because you have two kids.
We do.
2 daughters.
Yep.
And so they've kind of grown up at the same age as like Ian and Alex.
As Ian and Alex.
Yeah. So like 20. No, Aaron's. How old is Aaron?
Aaron is oh my gosh. So Christine is 32. Sorry, Aaron. She's just turned 31. She just had a birthday.
And Christine's older.
Is 32.
Okay. Wow, they are really close.
They're very close.
So you had 2 under
months.
2 way back when.
Yeah.
How was that? Well, like being a young mom and having 2 daughters under 2 years old.
It was a lot, and we were on our own. We were living in Bloomington, Indiana.
Yeah.
Kind of on our own. And I've never had twins, so I apologize if people have had twins and,
sounds like
and think I'm terrible, but I really thought it was kind of harder to have them 14 months apart because I had an infant and then a mobile yet totally irresponsible 14-month-old just doing what she wanted, and I'd be running after her with the baby,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And were you, because you're an engineer, so when you had the kids, were you still working at that time?
I was working part-time.
Okay.
I had worked at the same company where Bob was working. And then when I had the babies, I kind of wanted to take some time off, and they had some projects for me to work on.
Okay.
So I was doing project work for a while. And then, as you know, we moved a couple more times, and then it became kind of hard to work.
Yeah.
So I stayed home with the girls, which I really am thankful I was able to do that.
Yeah. And that might maybe lean into what we're kind of focused on today, which is sustainability.
Yeah.
I wanted to have Sue to talk about sustainability.
I would love to.
And so I can imagine being at home a little bit more and having maybe more opinions about cleaning products or food or how you're cooking or what they're wearing. Like that probably kind of stirred in as a mom who's at home with the girls, you know, growing up, like how we can be more sustainable in those areas. But we'll play the theme song for you and we'll jump into
I love the theme
all
song.
things sustainable. I do too. I do. We were going through like a free music, you know, like royalty free music. And I was like, this one's so fun.
It's a good theme song.
So roll the theme song. So, Sue, you currently live in upstate New York.
Right.
You are not of the same generation as me.
Right.
And we have some things in common, though. And one is sustainability.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really beautiful thing because I'm not the expert on this at all, but I'm in my upper 20s. And I feel like a lot of people in my generation maybe care about it and do stuff, or kind of care about it and don't really think there's much to do.
It makes me happy. I wasn't into sustainability when I was your age.
Yeah.
You know, and to see that you're starting at that age,
Just
really. Yeah, but you're thinking about it. And your generation seems so much more in tune with it than mine was when we were in our 20s.
Was it,
You know?
was it even a topic back then? Or, you know, did you ever hear anyone talk about it?
I kind of grew up with it. My mom and dad grew up during the Depression. My mom was the original recycler, reuser, you know, and I watched her. And in a way, people looked at her like, oh my gosh, you're going to reuse that Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Yeah.
Now people do that. Do you know what I mean? They wash them out.
Rinse it out. My mom does too. Rinse it out, turn it inside out, dry it.
My mom was doing that back in 1970.
Yeah.
You know, and people were like, huh, you know.
Do you think it was a combination of like, was the motivation more save money on Ziploc bags, or was it save the planet, less plastic, or kind of both?
I think it was both. I think she grew up very poor. And when you had something, you treasured it.
Yeah.
You made sure it lasted.
Yeah.
You made sure you used it as many times as you could.
Right.
And I think that was just her mindset. And it's funny because now I do things and I'm like, oh my gosh, my mom was doing that. I'm doing things my mom did.
You notice those kind of habits.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, where did I pick that one up? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, hey, she wasn't that crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I am.
You're like, I'm rinsing out a Ziploc bag.
I'm rinsing out a Ziploc. I hear them hanging around the kitchen.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing, though. Either, you know, whether it is the motivation to save some money or also save the planet, like both of those motivations are great. You know, like we shouldn't be wasteful anyway. And I do fear that, like, I see this all the time with clothes. They just don't make them like they used to. That makes me sound like an old, like, they don't make them like they used to.
Yeah.
But I really feel like, you know, my mom would have shoes and outfits and stuff. And she's like, I've had this since 1980 something. You know, why can't you guys take care of your stuff? And now I'm also like, oh, this stuff now just isn't made like that.
Yeah.
They use cheap fabric and the stitching's awful. And so there's also that element of the rises of fast fashion and like overproduction have made things less quality. So then you are buying more and you are going through stuff and it just contributes to this big like vicious cycle. Yeah.
I follow some people on Instagram that do a lot of mending. And I started doing that.
Oh,
and
really?
You were saying how I volunteer at the food pantry and I showed up one day and I had on the jeans that I mended the knee.
Oh,
I had
cool.
put a patch on it and put some like rainbow stitching and stuff. And the two women I work with said, where'd you do that? Or how is that? And I said, I did it. And I have actually taken their jeans home with me mended their jeans for them. They're like, beautiful. Would you mind? You know, I have jeans that I only wear out to garden. Would you mind fixing the knee? And so I've done that for them.
That's amazing.
It's kind of fun.
Do you think that'll start something in the community, like everyone kind of mending each other's clothes and goods?
I hope. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
I think it'd be cool.
My problem, what I have to do is get more outgoing with my beliefs. Like I'm very much like, this is what I do. And I'm trying to change my life. And then if people ask me about it, I'll talk about it, but I'm not a preacher. Do you know what I mean? Which I probably should be, which I see your generation doing. Like you're putting this out there and saying, let's all talk about sustainability.
Yeah.
Like I don't do things like that. But when Eileen asked me, oh, did you mend that? I'm like, sure. Do you want me to do yours? Like, I'll do that, you know?
Yeah, well, we can only like do what you have capacity for. And so it's not like you're going to go change all of Saratoga Springs and mend everyone's clothes, but you being a light in that space of saying, hey, who do I know? How can I help impact them or even educate them? Because some people might just be like, oh, I didn't know. Like you could just mend something so easily, or they might not know how attainable or affordable or practical something is.
Yeah.
You know, maybe their habit is just buy something new and it breaks. And so you can always be that light for someone else and say, what can I do with the tools that I have? And I see you doing that. That's so cool.
It's fun.
You also mentioned something last night. We were talking about like a sustainability initiative or something around town where people were donating goods that they didn't need.
Right. We have a group in Saratoga called Sustainable Saratoga, and I am going to their meeting next Saturday.
Oh, cool.
Or whatever. But
great.
They had a recycling event, and they had this huge parking lot with all these different stations set up, and you could donate anything from like a musical instrument to camping gear, clothing. It was awesome. There were so many people there just handing things into organizations that were going to use them.
Yeah.
But we were talking about one of the people, the biggest place that they had was collecting paint.
Yeah.
People who have half gallons of paint in their basement. And then, and the amount of paint that got recycled.
Just sitting around. That's crazy.
They had the longest lines, the lines wrapped around the parking lot, and people were emptying out 20, 30 gallons of paint. And I mean, we did too, because we had bought a house and there was all this paint in the basement. And we're like,
what do we need that for?
Or what do you do with it?
Yeah.
And you can't throw it out, you know? So I think that's my latest thing. Like in this house, I've picked one color. Yeah. I'm just going to paint the whole house one color.
It makes it so much easier.
And I started with the sustainability mindset, but then now as I walk through in every color, it's calming. I'm finding it really like, that's, you know, because it's a color that makes me relax.
Yeah.
And so I just walk around and it's consistent and relaxing for me.
Yeah.
So
and
that's a plus. You
don't have to add so many paints, you know, to the fill that's going to get poured out, or like where are this going to go after they're unused?
And if I want my bedrooms to look different, I'll throw some colored pillows on the bed that look different, that are easily changeable. I can sew new covers for them.
That's really smart. You know? And even like wall art, you can just pop in something different instead of painting the whole thing.
I'm not going to paint the whole wall, but put up a very colored, a color that I like in that room, and then a different one in another room.
Refresh it just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are cool little things that I feel like I don't see those often. And Saratoga Springs is kind of like, so it's upstate New York, and you're saying that the population around here is probably a mix of like young professionals and like some retired
families, retired. Yeah.
So I feel like it's kind of unique to see, again, like different generations being super on board with stuff like this. Like climate change seems like a little taboo with some people in your guys' generation, I would say.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Like, have you found that in your circles, it's kind of becoming more common to talk about like doing things to protect the planet, or?
Well, you have to understand, like I've made most of my friends around here working through this community is called LifeWorks. It used to be like the county EOC.
Okay.
And they've changed their name to LifeWorks community, and they support the community. And I worked at their soup kitchen and their food pantry. So it's kind of a more liberal-minded thinking people who will. And
you're around those kind of people.
I'm around those people. That's what I see all the time. But I would say, like at the food pantry, some of the food that we give out is food that they go to the local supermarket and pick up things that they're not going to sell anymore. Yeah. So produce that they can't sell because it's dinged, it's dark, it's whatever. We take it, we sort through it, we give it out, the things, the overproduction of bakery items that they have. We get
That's still good for a couple days. It's just like,
it's not like
it's not moldy yet. No. It's just like, we have to say that we can't sell this anymore because it's past a certain number of days on the shelf.
Sure. Like, and even if you buy it, it's not like you take it home and eat the whole thing in one day.
Right. You could freeze some of that, Right. So your pantry takes those items from the store, or like the store kind of says, hey, here you go.
Come. Here, there'll be boxes here if you want to come take them. We take them, we sort through them, and we give them out to people.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and the things we can't use, we give to a farmer who composts, or we give to a woman who has pigs who feeds things to our pigs.
So nothing's wasted at all.
No.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And as we've been here this week, I've noticed too with food. You guys have made such delicious
My poor
food.
husband.
I want Bob and Sue to make a little bed and breakfast restaurant because he makes good cocktails and cappuccinos. And you make some really good food. You made egg bites. You made that stew. Like all the good stuff, the salmon. But nothing was wasted. You kind of, I mean, I imagine most families do this.
I would hope so.
But I think it's extra special when, like, you don't necessarily have to save everything because you could just be like, okay, well, we're done with these veggies. We'll just toss them in the backyard, let the animals eat them.
Yeah.
But you guys were putting everything back in a container for the next day, and then you put it on a salad. Or you were talking about your soup stash. This is so cute.
I have a Tupperware in the freezer that I actually put like tape on the top and wrote future soup. And if we have corn or green beans left over, you know, there's just a little bit left that we didn't eat, I'll add it to the future soup. And I just keep stacking it until that container's.
And so it doesn't matter to you what's in there. Anything. Beans, corn, noodles,
rice, leftover pasta, whatever. I put it in there, and then when we're ready, I just take it out. I take a can or a box of, you know, broth, maybe a can of tomatoes.
Yeah.
Put all my frozen bits in there.
Future soup.
And Bob eats vegetable soup.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think that's so
He's so
practical.
Easygoing about that. A lot of people will be like, what the heck are you doing? But Bob's very, very agreeable.
Very okay with the future soup. I think that needs to be like a t-shirt that we make for the show. Future soup. I love it. But yeah, I just think that's really beautiful because it's like, everyone uses their like resources in different ways, but you guys could definitely be like, we'll just go out to eat, or we don't have to save every scrap of food, you know, like let's just go back to
We've known people who say, I don't save leftovers.
Yeah, I know people too.
As soon as dinner's over, everything goes in the trash.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh
my gosh. We were at a gathering recently and someone brought all these cinnamon rolls and, you know, people were leaving and stuff and they'd been out for maybe an hour and a half or something. And they were like, hey, anyone else want these? And no one said anything. So she just started throwing them. And I was like,
stop.
And so I was like, well, I'll take one more. Like, not that I needed it, but
I'll
I was
wrap
just
it in wax paper and freeze it. And someday I'll be so happy to have that cinnamon roll.
Them out.
Yeah.
And I think I get in that trouble too because I'll save everything, but then may or may not eat it. It'll get moldy or something. Yeah. But you're inspiring me to at least like freeze it.
I freeze
even
things.
If I don't eat it like in that span, I can just pop it in the freezer and use it for my future soup.
Future soup.
I love it.
Yeah.
So what are some other ways that you practice sustainability in your guys' lives?
I really try just not to buy things that are in like packaging that I don't like. Bob will want to buy something at the grocery store and I'm like, I don't think so.
Is it mostly just plastic?
Plastic bothers me. Styrofoam. I don't use liquid soap anymore. You know, I don't use in the bath wash. What do you call that? Bath wash. I use bar soap.
Why am I blanking?
I try to buy bar soap in its least packaged form.
Yes.
And we've been using that. It's great.
Yeah.
You know, we have a really great store here called Healthy Living Market that has a great bulk section. I buy my spices in bulk. I buy tons of things in bulk that are food items, but I also buy like Dr. Bronner's Sal Suds, which is a very concentrated detergent. And then I water it down and I use it to clean everything. It's like my new Fantastic or 409. But I don't buy plastic anymore with that, you know?
Did you grow up like seeing that as a common thing of people just buy a whole new bottle of soap with a plastic container and when did you kind of go, I'm realizing this isn't great for the environment?
When you start hearing about the plastic in the fish and the big island of floating plastic in the Pacific Ocean, when you hear about how much plastic production has increased just in the recent couple of years, you got to start thinking about that and thinking, wow, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And then you start thinking, when I was growing up, things weren't all packaged in plastic.
Yeah.
You know, and my kids have been great. Like one daughter, they know me now. For my birthday, gave me those produce bags. Yeah. Reusable produce bags.
It's so practical.
Loved it. So I use those all the time now. Other things I do, like we have Corelle plates and I have a stack of like 24 and it's only maybe 3 inches high in my cabinet, but we'll have our family over for a holiday and we'll have 20 people. We all use plates that I then stick in the dishwasher.
Yeah.
I don't put out plastic or paper plates.
Yeah.
I won't do that.
I think that's really smart. Those ones too, because those are the thin and they feel stronger than ceramic.
Yeah.
I've had those too. And I'm like, wait, why are these better than the ceramic ones that you drop and they just, oh, there they go.
Yeah. Like I use those. We'll have 20 of my family members over. We'll all use those. We'll use real silverware. I'll put it in the dishwasher and there's no trash.
Yeah.
You know?
There's another one. Our neighbor's pretty savvy with this stuff too. And we were at a neighborhood event and had like thin aluminum cups that were disposable. And I thought that was pretty cool because instead of those like red solo plastic cups for a gathering. So most people just kept them. But I was like, can we keep these? She's like, yeah, they're super inexpensive and they're aluminum. So they keep your drink. Yeah, I should get you some because they're just great for like a pool party, so you don't have to have your glasses out there on the deck
by the pool.
Yeah, but it's also not plastic, so you don't have to worry about it if someone drops it or something. It was just like a thin aluminum, but it still held up. And I was like, that's pretty smart.
That's neat.
But I love those little switches of very practical things, just saying like, hey, instead of spending a few extra bucks and contributing to more plastic, we're just going to get these kind of plates for our family that are also thin, inexpensive, and then you just rewash them, reuse them as many times.
Yeah. When we go to restaurants, I really try not to get a straw.
Yeah.
You know,
I always tell Ian, I'm like, you're killing turtles.
Sometimes they stick them in and, and they're already in the drink. I'm like, oh,
I know.
I should have said something.
I'm not a huge stickler on that one, but I similarly usually don't ask for one. Yeah. But when he's like on a road trip and we're driving and they'll hand him like the Starbucks coffee, he'll be like, can I have a straw? And I'm like, oh. And I'm like, you just ruined it. You killed a turtle right there. He's like, well, I can't do this while I'm driving a car.
True. Like,
that's true. Fine.
And, I do these things. I'm not perfect, but I think even if I can do, 10% better, 20% better, if we all just tried to do a few little things, it's gonna make things better.
Preach it, Sue.
I
agree. And we were talking about this a little bit there's so much pressure for the consumer, for the individual to don't litter, don't buy fast fashion, save the planet, don't use plastic, don't use styrofoam. And it makes it almost impossible. Don't buy that, thing you were going to buy because it's plastic wrapped or whatever. But it's like, I think it doesn't excuse us from not trying. Yeah. Even if we can all acknowledge, hey, I can only do what I can do.
That's what I was going to say.
I can't save the world, not my job. No. But if we all, like you said, do 10 or 20% better and just change those micro habits just a little bit.
Yeah.
In conjunction with advocating to big corporations.
Right.
Coca-Cola, Walmart, Amazon, and saying, hey, I'm doing what I can do. Could you please stop poisoning us?
Yeah.
I think those two go hand in hand.
I like what you said. I don't judge people. Everybody's in a different spot. And everybody has, concerns and their own life to live. But everybody probably has one or two ways that they can change.
Yeah,
Like we don't use paper napkins. I do use paper napkins with guests, sometimes. Well, not you.
Not me.
India has her own napkin.
We got assigned napkin colors the first day. She was like, blue or green?
Blue or green. But we don't use napkins. I try not to buy paper towels. I always have a few around because we have 2 dogs. And there are just some things that are too disgusting to look at twice.
Right.
So I do use paper towels sometimes.
Oh, wait, yeah. Do you want to show your paper towels?
So this is another thing, saying our daughters know us. They bought us these little reusable paper towels that I keep in a little basket by the sink. They're great.
Yeah, these are awesome.
They're awesome.
They clean really well. You just throw these in the dishwasher?
I throw them in the washing machine.
Not dishwasher.
Washing
machine?
That washer.
Yeah.
Another thing I made, and this was a Christmas present I gave to everybody one year, but I made these little things with silverware, and I keep it in the car.
Nice.
I told everybody, keep it in your car. So if you go to Chipotle or whatever, don't grab their silverware.
Yeah.
I throw this in my purse.
So you sewed this?
When we travel. Yeah, I sewed these.
This is cool.
Right? I made these for everybody in the family and said, take these with you. They fit in your purse.
Yeah.
Don't grab silverware when you're out.
I'm going to learn from you because, when we go to Chipotle, Ian always grabs a whole hand. Right? I'm just pinning it all on Ian. Once in a while, I do that too. I'll grab an extra fork because I'm like, great.
And we're not perfect. I mean, there are times where we're grabbing them too.
Oh, yeah. It's like, okay, gotta go.
But that's why I said, if you can just do it every once in a while, like if I remember this, 3 out of 10 times, that's a few that I didn't use.
And if you think about, okay, how much is that going to impact? I'm not using my silverware. But if every single person in America decided to opt out of using plastic silverware at those restaurants, then the restaurants would get the picture and go, oh, then we don't need to order so much.
We don't need them.
Or let's switch to like, there's like
the ones that
bamboo or thick
compostable.
agave. Yeah, it's like an agave compound or something that's, you can throw that in the garden and it'll just decompose.
Yeah.
It's like, first of all, I don't understand why we're not doing that in the first place. I know it's probably more expensive.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, why are the companies in charge not deciding that expense is worth it?
Yeah.
That's where I get a little mad.
Yeah.
I'm like, they don't care about the mess we're making.
It is hard. Sometimes it feels like doing the right thing costs you.
Yeah. It does. It always does, actually.
Does. Yeah. That's why I'm not judgy either, because not everybody can afford to do the right thing that way.
Or not everyone is educated to know if it is right or if it does impact anything, right? Like, because not everyone's thinking like, oh, I'm making a wrong decision by using a plastic fork.
Right.
But if it's like, hey, here's one way that could be a little better for the world, then they might change their mind. Yeah.
Right.
Ugh, it's good stuff. I think it's really cool to see you guys doing this stuff. Because again, like, it's not like you're not doing this perfectly necessarily. There's no perfect to it. But just to walk in and see those little changes and to hear your heart for it. And for you to be like, like, I'm retired and I choose to use my time at a pantry volunteering, helping with sustainability there. Yeah. You're choosing to like use the ground. You were talking about maybe making a garden.
We definitely have a garden.
Yeah. Like that is just cool. Those little things that you can choose to use your time to do to make the world a better place.
Right.
And your lives better.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
I think it's awesome. Do you have anything that you would like to share for, I guess, maybe someone who's, I don't know, of my generation, like a younger person, like kind of looking back on your life and the world, the state of the world, we were talking about this. What can younger people do now to kind of make this world a better place?
I'll tell you, after talking to you and Ian, and then my husband had coffee with his friend today and he was talking about his children, I'm really heartened to see that you do care about these things. This generation, I think, really cares about things. I don't know. Our generation, we kind of grew up in the 80s, and it wasn't, people didn't talk about that stuff as much, you know? And so it makes me actually happy. I don't know what wisdom I could give you because I feel like some of you are so wise right now. You're way wiser than we were at that age.
I'm looking to you because I'm like, how do we not mess this place up? like this is your planet and, too. And it's like when we have kids and grandkids, I'm concerned about the world we're leaving them.
Right.
And I'm just like, hey, you guys have gone before us. Like, what are the things we can learn from and learn about? Because it's weird. It's a weird thing to be in this position of like, the world feels
pretty unsettled right now.
Yeah. It's like, oh, hey, the world is yours. You graduate college. Like the world's your oyster. And then we're also like burning it down at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I don't know.
And for so long, you feel like when you're in your 20s, like, oh, now we're becoming the adults. We're the ones who have to affect the change.
I'm like, I had to talk to another adult about this. I'm like, you're like the adult now.
No,
and I'm
you're
like,
the adult.
Oh my gosh, how am I the adult? You're the adult too. I'm not the adult. Yeah. I think it's interesting. We'll see what happens with, we were talking about politics. Well, it gets a little freaky because it's just like, I feel like at those high offices too, I would hope that those people in power can affect the most change and say, hey, we all share this planet. This stuff spans across political lines. It's like everyone should care about the planet we share. Yeah. And I'm hoping that eventually we'll have some leaders, even if it's not in America, just globally, that say we're doing these things.
It's the right thing to do.
It is. It really is. And I think traveling a little has opened my mind to some of that.
Travel is a great thing. Reading.
Yes.
Read everything you can.
Yeah, you read a lot.
We both.
Okay, maybe before this is over, you'll have to drop your like reads, like things you're reading right now and things you recommend.
Oh, well, I just finished All the Colors of the Dark.
Okay.
Loved it.
You added that to my list.
Yeah, I loved it.
And you read fiction and nonfiction?
I read both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that one was a fiction one?
Yeah.
Okay. What was the genre?
Kind of suspense, I guess.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's good. It's hard to describe. So much happened in that book that It's hard. I was trying to describe it to Bob because I said, I really like this book. And he's like, what was it about? And we were taking a walk with the dogs. And I'm like, well, and then this happened. And I was going on. And he was just like, okay.
Yeah. You're like, okay, great. Yeah. I do that with Ian too. He's like, how's your book? And then I'll tell him like everything. And he's like, next time just say good or bad. Like, because I'm just like telling him the whole plot. He's like, okay, I guess I won't read it.
That's me.
Yeah.
Oversharing, you know. I tried reading a book by Eric Larson. He writes a lot of nonfiction. And this one was about Germany in the 1930s and the rise of Hitler. But it was just, I had to stop because I felt it was just a little stressful for how I'm feeling right now. Yeah. So I kind of didn't finish that one.
Yeah.
But that was one of the recent ones I was trying to read.
You were doing the Times this morning, reading the articles in the New York Times or something else?
Yeah, we get on there every morning to do the puzzles.
Yeah,
love the puzzles.
I love the puzzles.
But then I do go in and try to read and just,
just
but
stay
that's
informed.
what I would tell people to do. Just try. And I know it's hard when you're working. Like we're retired now. So it's so much easier to just, I'm going to sit down and read the Times or read a book. Or you can't do that so much when you're young.
Yeah, I try to do a couple of podcasts a week. I really got rid of the news sources because it was a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
But I still want to be informed. So I'll do I follow the Times on social media. So I don't like actively get their notifications every morning.
Yeah.
But I'll like see stuff from them and The Atlantic and, a couple of those other news sources. I try to listen to a podcast or two a week that just tells me what's happening.
Yeah.
Instead of kind of being fed a certain news source's opinion or version of it when you know they're all like politically involved. I try to do the non-biased ones.
Yeah.
Like, what's just happening? I don't want to know who paid you to tell me this.
Right.
I need to just see what is happening.
Yeah. I do like listening to podcasts.
Yeah.
I think that's something your generation is great at. Listening in the
this
car.
is pretty new.
You do a lot of audiobooks and,
I do a lot of audiobooks now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like those when I'm working too. It's helpful to just put those. And I'm sure when you're like gardening in the summer, you can just put your headphones in and kind of listen to an audiobook or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had, 2 book suggestions.
Yeah.
Any other books? It doesn't have to be about sustainability. Just anything.
I don't even
anything
know.
that Sue's like, oh, this is a
Yeah.
good one.
I love Demon Copperhead.
Okay, I'm on that one right now. Yeah.
I like that book. That was very good.
Yeah. I'm excited to get into the weeds of that one. I just started it on this trip, which is cool.
That's cool.
We both like the Hunger Games. Or no, not Hunger Games. Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Well, I like the Hunger Games.
I like the Hunger Games too. And the movies. Yeah.
And the movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about something else that was a good one. Oh, The Silent Patient.
Oh, that was
which
a good
I
book.
loved that one too.
Yeah.
But if you have more, you can always
I will tell
email
you.
me and I'll just
text
include like Sue's list of Goodreads.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
of things to read and listen to.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. We talked about sustainability.
Yeah.
We talked about your life a little bit. You've had a cool life though. You've done a lot of cool things. I think it's really rare to see someone who's like moved and settled and have children and has worked and is now continuing to stay busy, in retirement. I think that's beautiful. What else is coming up maybe this year, something that you're looking forward to in this next 2025?
Well, our daughter is moving to San Diego.
Yes.
We lived there for 10 years, so it's very familiar. She kind of grew up out there.
Do you wish you were also moving to San Diego?
No, not really. Like my family is around here and my husband is from Cleveland. So we're at a spot now where we're closer to them. San Diego is so far.
It is.
When we were out there, that was the feeling we got.
Yeah. You're like clear on the edge.
Yeah, but I love San Diego. And
cool.
having her out there now will give us a chance to, a reason to go out.
Visit, get some warm weather.
We do. And we have some great friends out there.
Yeah.
We already see them once a year. We take a vacation with them.
Yeah, you guys
once
went
a year.
We
did the California coast with them. We did Yellowstone with them.
You guys like just met in Yellowstone and went hiking.
Right.
I love it.
Right.
I think that's
They're
awesome.
Hi, Dennis and Lucia.
Hey guys, special shout out.
Love you. So we're going to meet them in Savannah and Charleston this year.
Beautiful.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Do you like traveling or does it stress you out?
I do.
Okay.
I like traveling. The only stressor is having dogs. I mean, because I treat her like my baby.
Yeah.
So it's always like, what are we going to do with
She's
Bailey?
outside right now. But
yeah.
She's a sweetie.
So that's the only thing.
And she comes with you for this next one. Is she
We're going to Cleveland.
Okay. So she'll be
to
in the
visit
car.
Bob's parents and we take her with us.
Nice.
She's great in the car.
I mean, that's probably a drive, but not crazy.
It's not crazy.
6 or 7 hours?
6 or 7 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I love that you can just bring her with you guys, and that you're so active. I think that's like the coolest thing.
And we bring her to, our other daughter lives in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
We bring Bailey down there.
Shout out to Erin.
Hi, Erin. Hi, AD. Hi.
Yeah. And they live there. And do they have a pet?
No.
Oh, really?
No, they don't.
Okay, so we're convincing them. Yeah. They need a little puppy or something.
They need a puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you're a dog person and you've had so many pets. They're mostly all rescues.
We've had rescues and breeder dogs.
You're sustainable in that too.
See, I'm trying to improve it just my 10%.
Yeah.
We've had both.
That's what we like to joke about. I'm like, I love shopping secondhand. All my cats are secondhand too. Yeah. Like they've come from other people. I'm like, thank you. I'll just take this one.
Well, I'm trying to learn a lot from you with this thrifting.
Oh,
with the clothing.
You were saying you go to Plato's Closet.
I do. Yeah. And there's another thrift store I go to.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying. I'm trying.
See, we should go today. We'll go a little shopping.
We should.
I just got this at I spilled coffee on it already. This is we went to a clothing swap at our church.
Oh, that's
great. Which was kind of cool. They just had, and I love that they're doing this. It was kind of a community event, and they were like, hey, bring 5 items that you don't want anymore, and you can leave with 15. And so everyone brought all this stuff. Like 5 items was the minimum, but they had a whole bunch of people that just brought so many. Like I brought a dozen. And so we just, they put it on like hooks and wires and made it look cute. It looked like a little store.
Yeah.
Free event. Everyone just walked around and grabbed some stuff that they wanted. And I was like, great. Well, I have to get my stain out now.
That reminds me. I use this website called FreeCycle.
Oh, cool.
Do you have FreeCycle?
No, I've never heard of this.
You put in your area and people will just post on there either wanted or offer.
Cool.
And like we took down some light fixtures in this house.
Yeah.
And so I just put it on there free and you put pictures.
Awesome.
And say, anybody want it? And people want them.
Okay.
And then
FreeCycle.
FreeCycle.
I'm going to look that up for sure.
Look it up. I hope you can do it in your area.
Yeah.
And like I'm a member of the Saratoga area one. And people there is a range of items on there. Like the other day, people were looking for moving boxes.
Yeah.
Or they offer moving boxes. And usually it's like, I'll leave it on my porch. Anybody wants it,
Nice.
And,
So I do Facebook Marketplace sometimes to buy stuff. Like I just got a little patio set.
We do curb alerts on Craigslist, all that.
That's great. Okay, I'll look for that for sure. Because it is annoying with stuff like moving boxes. It's like, I don't want to go spend $30 on a bunch of cardboard.
Right.
It's more than that now too, for some reason.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So FreeCycle.
FreeCycle. Okay. Yeah. Trying to think of anything else that we might need to talk about. You're a Swiftie.
I am.
You're a Swiftie. The more I learn about Sue Penicka, the more I'm like, are we the same? Only like
but my favorite Taylor Swift song is her first one. I love Tim
really?
McGraw.
Really?
That's my favorite Taylor Swift song.
That's amazing. Yeah, I was gonna say, what's your era? What is your favorite album?
I really like her early stuff. I love that song, Tim McGraw. I don't know why. It's adorable, I think.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It really is. Her, very early stuff. Because you think of her being like 15, like writing all this stuff. It's just like very innocent.
It's innocent. It's sincere.
Very cute.
Yeah.
And you guys listen to a lot of music. You were saying
all kinds of music.
Yeah. I was surprised Bob. He was like, oh yeah, who's Chapel Road?
Oh yeah.
I was like, Bob knows about Chapel Road?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So Sabrina Carpenter, Chapel Road, Taylor Swift. Who's your favorite artist at the moment? Do you have one?
I don't know if I have one right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
kind of
don't
a little
think
bit of anything that's popping.
Yeah.
We went to music the other day with you guys.
We did at Cafe Lena.
This is why Bob and Sue are the best. They're like active. They're like doing stuff. You guys like, let's just go to this cafe for a concert.
Yeah. And they kind of had songwriters each doing a few songs that they wrote and explaining like why they wrote it, what they were feeling when they wrote it. It was, I'll go again. That was our first time, but I will do that again.
And that was a cafe Bob Dylan performed at or something?
He did.
Okay.
He did,
I didn't know for
sure.
Day. Yeah. But you guys were also in music growing up. You played piano.
Yeah.
You still play piano a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Bob plays trumpet. He played in wedding bands from the time he was like 13.
It's just crazy you to have two people who've lived such full and adventurous lives.
He was 13 and practicing his trumpet in his bedroom. And this man who had a wedding band was walking by and went up and knocked on the door and said, who's playing trumpet? And his parents said, our 13-year-old son is up in his bedroom. And the guy was like, I want him in my wedding band.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's how he got started.
That's how he got started. So he played all the way through college.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right? I know.
That doesn't happen anymore either.
No.
I don't think so.
If somebody come up and knocked on your door, you'd be like,
what do you mean?
I think COVID changed all that too.
Oh my gosh.
Definitely.
You're like, please get off my porch, actually. Yeah, put on a mask.
Stop breathing, get off my porch. Maybe we're getting over that now.
Yeah. Wait, when did you meet Bob again? You said through Lawn. you guys were all in your 20s in Circleville.
Bob was working at Circleville Lamp Plant at GE, making GE light bulbs.
Yeah, and you were an engineer at GE.
Transferred there.
Because you're so
and
cool.
I met him there. So I met Bob at work.
Okay, cool.
And then Lon, Ian, your husband's father, lived in the same apartment complex.
Yeah.
Circleville's a small town.
Yes, Circleville, Ohio. Shout out.
So we all kind of stuck together. Go Pumpkin Show.
Go Pumpkin Show. Wait, was Bob your first like boyfriend?
No, I had other boyfriends, and he actually was dating someone. I wasn't dating anyone when I moved there, but he was dating someone, his college girlfriend, when I first moved there. So we were just friends, for a long time.
What happened with the other ones? Did you just not find someone that you thought was serious to like to fall in love with?
Yeah.
Or did you fall in love with someone else and they broke your heart?
Oh, no, like I just hadn't met anybody that I thought this is the one.
Okay,
you know?
So that was
and Bob and I were friends for a long time.
Did that?
You know?
Do you think that's like the key with relationships is being friends first?
I do,
because I'm sure that's what happened with Aaron and Abraham.
They were friends at work.
We're kind of hoping the same for Christine too.
Go Christine!
If anyone is single and lives in San Diego. And wants to date an amazing woman.
She's amazing.
Sue has the best daughter.
I do.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So it's kind of fun. That was your first like real serious relationship.
This would work. You know,
and it worked. I mean, you guys have been together for almost 30.
It'll be 38 years in October.
38 years.
Neat.
You've had the coolest life, and I'm so glad you guys met and fell in love, and that
now we met you.
Now we met me. Do you have any life like regrets looking back at all that, or like?
You know, you hear people say, "Oh, I have no regrets in my life." I don't know how you can live and not have. I mean, sometimes I regret what I ordered at the restaurant. I mean,
it's like, how do you have like a perfect life?
I don't know how you do that. You know, maybe it's my personality to second guess stuff, because I do that all the time. I do that all the time. You know, But I do try to just. I'm happy with what I've chosen. You know, you try to look back and you say, I made the best decision I could at that point with the information that I knew.
Exactly.
And I don't beat myself up about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's a beautiful thing.
You learn something later and you say, oh, I could have done that differently or that. But hey, I did the best I could. And that's the way I try to look at other people too. You're trying to do your best. So just keep doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's beautiful. Bob said something like that last night. Ian was saying something about, I regret something about this. And he just said like, we're only looking forward now. And I was like, that's just the right attitude, I think. And I think, again, if everyone does that 10 to 20% of their own life, like change what you can going forward. You can't look back and go, oh man, I messed all this up. And
then beat yourself up. And then think, I'm so stupid. You can't do that. You know, you can't live that way. And you can't carry all that with you. You have to forgive. Yeah. You know, you can't carry things and let that eat at you. You forgive, you know. Maybe somebody had a bad day when they said something to you, or I don't know.
That's a beautiful outlook.
You know?
Yeah. Do you feel like that's more freeing? Like to just move in your life in that kind of like, I'm not holding on to anything.
I'm not holding on to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aww.
Definitely.
Sue, you're just like a wealth of knowledge. And I just want to hang out with you all day and be like, tell me how to live life the right way.
Oh my gosh, I wish I could. But I'm trying. I think everybody's trying.
Yeah. I think that's beautiful.
Thanks.
Well, thank you so much.
This was awesome.
I'll tell you,
I can't believe I'm doing an Indian stuff podcast.
Well, you would text me. I think I gave you a shout out in one of them because I knew you were watching. And I said something about you guys making soap from scratch.
Yeah.
And then you had to text me and you're like, hey, we actually stopped because it got too crazy to get all these.
It did.
So I had to get like corrected on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just glad you're here. I'm glad to know you. And it's been a treat to have you on the little show.
It's been great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
So fun.
Oh, that was good. I love
that.
Good?
Not too crazy?
Not crazy. What do you think? Was I okay? Did I talk too fast?
No.